Okay, to start with, I consider myself very fortunate that I was born in a family who were already with Meherbad. So my life starts with Meherbad from my birth. And in fact, I was again fortunate enough to even get my name through Mihra Mani, who asked Baba if they could name me Amrit, which Jimmy tried to change it just now. And after that, of course, one doesn't remember all that. I believe I was in New Lifetime, had a short span time when Baba was North India in Dehradun. We are from Dehradun. Traveled from Dehradun to Haridwar and stayed in Haridwar for 24 hours and back. And that was New Lifetime. So I believe, with my mother and father, I was taken. So I received so much from Baba from the beginning of my life. And what I remember Baba in 54 when Baba came to North India for a darshan program. And even though I was only 3.5, 4 years old, but I don't remember his monthly, but I remember Baba giving darshan, sitting in this big hall. People are coming from one side, taking prasad, going out from other side. So that was my... I remember seeing Baba, beautiful, and then he visited us in our house because his quarters was very close to our house. And that way we were able to see him regularly. But what I really remember seeing him when I was 18-year-old, when Baba had arranged my marriage with Dara, that's the time I was fortunate enough again to live at Meherbad in ashram in Baba's time for 3 weeks. And that was my time with Meher Baba, every day, going to his room, getting beautiful messages, and And after that, that was the time when he was arranging our marriage, mine and Dara's. And then after that, that's the introduction. My father's name is Shatrughan Kumar. He's the gentleman who was in British time, was revolutionary. He was in prison many a time, and you must have either heard or read the book about him when he had asked Mr. God to help him. And many years later, Mr. God, who was Meher Baba, reminded him his promise. And my mother, she's completely with Baba, so is my sisters and most of their spouses and children. So this is our life, and now God and myself live in another and try to do a little bit of volunteer work. And yeah, that's it.
I have not much to add to this because my mother met Baba. Actually, I don't know whether she was a Baba lover or not, but she met Baba before her marriage through her cousin Chanji. Chanji was my mother's cousin, and he brought the whole family to Baba. At that time, my mother came along and met Baba. So naturally, we just grew up, but never had that longing to be with Baba. We were just very playful, and I think I was a dumb child. I didn't understand anything. It was just like whenever we used to go and visit Baba, because only Baba, whenever Baba called, we would only go there. We never just went like that. So that time, my mother would arrange for all the nice dresses and everything, and so that was like a picnic, or you can say a holiday that we had with Baba. Never understanding anything. And later on, that was in the year 1944, when Baba asked us to come and stay at Meherbad to celebrate Mehra's birthday. That was in year 1944. That you can gauge my age. And that time I was 12. So it was at that time when I saw the whole Baba's women mandir, those who were staying there, those who were working there, and I was just thinking, why all these European ladies are working here? They would carry the water for the bath, they would serve us the food and this and that and everything. So it was something very new to me. And we always thought that the British were, at that 44 was the time when the British used to rule India. So we always held them in higher esteem. So that was the beginning of my coming to Baba. I feel that way. Before that I met Baba many times, but I never had the longing or the feeling. And so here I am, still longing for him. Not yet finished. Okay, Jai.
Jai Baba. I'm Roshan and I am Brother Heritage's first cousin. We were born into the family who had heard beloved Baba speak, and I can gladly say that we were born to be Babas only. My father had heard beloved Baba speak in 1922 when Baba had arrived at Aranka. One of my uncles who was a homeopathic doctor, and he used to have free dispensary in Ahmednagar. So people from around the Ahmednagar villages come to see him for the medicine. So they came and said, at Aranka there is a Parsi sadhu city. So my father, my two uncle and one of my aunt, they walked cross country from our house, Akbar Press, which was on the station road, to Meherbad, Aranka. Baba was sitting under the neem tree at the roadside, and he was singing with a very sweet voice to Lord. And they went closer to Baba. Baba was speaking at that time, so Baba got up and embraced them as we Parsis embrace each other when we see for the first time. And Baba asked my father, how many brothers and sisters you are? So my father said, we are 5 brothers and I have 4 sisters. We stay at Akbar Press, where my grandfather used to work. And, I see. So, after their meeting, they went back home. And maybe next day or the day after, beloved Baba walked and came to the house when my grandpa was sitting on the veranda reading our Avastha. He had become old, so he had taught his younger son to take care of the Ginny breast. And when my grandpa saw Baba coming, we had 2 beautiful huge gardens on either side of our bamboo passage. There was a steel door and Baba walked through the door. And to my grandfather's eyes, beloved Baba was young, he had open hair, he was wearing white sadra and pyjama, and very good walking strides beloved Baba had. And Baba walked up the steps and came to my grandfather who was praying. So grandfather started clapping loudly to draw the attention of the family. And when all the children came out, they were youngsters. They were not very big. They came out and grandfather tells them, here is Lord Shrivastava, because beloved Baba looked like Lord Shrivastava to his eyes. And everybody was having embraced by Baba. Those who had met Baba a day before or so had not told their grandfather that they had walked to Aurangabad and already met him. So they all meet. And then Grandpa tells the children that you all must give respect to Baba. He was not known as Baba. My grandfather never knew what his name was either. He is Lord Zoroaster. You must all respect him. Then Baba said, after walking 12 kilometers, Baba must be feeling hungry. So he said, I am hungry. So my grandpa said, please go ahead into the kitchen and have whatever you wish to have. The food is ready. We had 24 or 25 people in the family. We had a very big joint family. So beloved Baba walked towards the kitchen as if he knew the whole plan of the house. In those days, we were not having any fancy things. There were no tables and chairs also in the house. And we used to sit on wooden stools in the kitchen, put our food on our lap and eat it with the hand. So Baba walked and had his meal as much as he wanted, and then he came and again greeted the family. And we don't know whether Baba went to Adi Senior's place, which was Pushpa quarters, or beloved Baba went to Meherbad. Anyway, this is how Baba came into the family. When Baba asked my father how many brothers and sisters you are, so father says, I have 5 brothers and I have 4 sisters. So Baba tells my father, from today, I am your 6th brother. So that's how he gets into the family and remains like a family member all the life. We children were not yet born. Then later on, all of the boys of Akbar Press grew up, so naturally they had to go to find work for their life. So my father and one of my uncle went to Bombay. One of them became accountant in some mill, and my father joined the railways. And he carried on in the railways and became a railway driver. And we had a house in Bombay just across the Dada Chanti family house. So whenever beloved Baba came to the Dada Chanti family, which was very often, we were taken to their house and Baba would take us on his lap and cuddle us and rock us. And when I was just 9 months old, Baba had come to the family, Dada Chanti family. So Sam's mother, who was my aunt, we are both first cousins. And she took my mother with me to beloved Baba. Baba took me on his lap, and after a while, when it was time to return me back to my mother, instead of returning me into the hands of my mother, beloved Baba put me in his mother's hand. That means he had decided long before that we will be together in life. Anyway, then in 1942, it so happened that my eldest aunt's husband died with heart attack. She had 5 sons and 2 daughters. But that uncle of mine was not educated, and he had not saved much money. So when he died, my aunt had only 1,500 rupees saved. Then, after 2 months, one of my other uncle's wife died with some illness. He had only one son. And after another 2 months, my mother died with illness. So now these 3 families lost their loved ones. Now these men of the house thought, how is that sister going to take care of 7 children in Bombay? So we all moved to Ahmednagar and our Barrington house. Everything was loaded in the truck and we moved to Upper Press. Upper Press was a house with one big bungalow and several small cottages. So everything got settled nicely in the household. And at that time we were 13 children in the family. So we had a gala time. Baba used to come to our house quite often on his way to the trust office where he wanted some work to be done by Ali Senior, and he would stop and tell us that he is coming at such and such time back. Tell your aunt to keep food ready and I will come and have it. So when Baba would come in the house, he would meet everybody. I had 2 sisters and 1 brother. They all had polio. So when we arrived from Bombay and everything was settled, we came to Meherbad to meet Baba. My father and my uncle, we all came to Meherbad in our horse carriage. And at that time, beloved Baba was sitting in the Rowdy cabin. Just on the floor, there was a gali on which there was white bed sheet spread out. Baba was leaning on a log, and there was a life-size Baba's picture next to him. So this little child of 4.5 years, I did not know which one was real. So I look at the picture and I look at beloved Baba. Look at picture and I look at beloved Baba. Then beloved Baba opened his arms and I ran into his lap. He gave me a tight hug and my father and uncle were all there. Baba tells my father, Homie, you need not worry about this child. I am taking the whole responsibility of hers. You need not worry. But I tell you, you should not take her to any shrine, saints, or any kind of doctors without his permission. So whenever it was needed, my health was referred to beloved Baba, and whatever beloved Baba would order, I was treated with that medicine. One of my uncles.
Let us take only to how we met Baba for the time period. Then we have second round. Just first how we met, how we came to Baba. Over to Sam.
I'm sorry.
Jai Baba, everybody. Normally, I always begin my talk with a sense of humor. And And one of the best I have ever heard was by the famous American Mark Twain, the greatest humorist the world has ever produced. And this is what Mark Twain had to say. Always keep your mouth shut. Unfortunately, things have become too late now. Always keep your mouth shut. By so doing, the world might take you to be a fool. But the moment you open your mouth, you will confirm that fact. Beloved Baba also had a very high sense of humor. Amongst the Zoroastrians, we have the 21st of March, a very important day. It is known as Jamshidi Navru, when the day and the night are equal, vernal equinox. And on that occasion, the Zoroastrians prepare a very special sweet dish, vermicelli, boiled eggs, curd, bananas and all. So beloved Baba's secretary Abyssinia prepared a very big bowl of that and sent it to Meherbad. The board is there about 8:39 in the morning, and Baba was already seated with his dear one. The Lord had already opened his darbar, and Baba said, "What is all this?" And he said, "Sent." And Baba said, "Who sent all this?" And he said, "Adi Baba has sent it." Baba said, "Send it to the lady," because then they distributed to all. About an hour or so later, yet another young man came over, again with the same big bowl and bowl of sweet dishes and all that. And beloved Baba asked him,
Who sent? What did you
sorry. And beloved Baba asked him, who sent it? And he said, Sarosh Baba. Sarosh was another very close beloved Baba in Mandir. Baba nodded his head and said, send it to the ladies and they will distribute. Then Baba told Devaj, send a very urgent message to Kulshreshtha, today known as the trust office, and tell them that beloved Baba wants all his dear ones and dear ones to be present at Meherbad tomorrow morning. So they all came over to Meherbad, and beloved Baba began the meeting. Everyone was surprised that what is so very important that Baba has called all of us. And Baba said, I now decided one thing. From tomorrow onwards, every one of you shall call me Meherba, not Meher Baba. And they said, Baba, what is all this? What's going on? And Baba said, now that you have not become Baba, why should I remain Baba? When I asked how that sweet boy came over, the boy said, it was Adi Baba who sent it. 1 hour later, when another boy comes, I ask him, who sent it? And he says, Sarosh. So now you all have become Baba. I think I best turn back to Meherba only. That's what the way beloved Baba was. The beauty of this man was the way he played his part in his creation, what we call Dagi Lila. In Andhra, a young boy was going to school.
The first round is how we came to Baba.
How I came to Baba.
Yes. The first round was for that. Please. Let's take to that. So
then I was born in a family that had accepted him, but I was a merchant marine for 30 years. And it was as late as 1984 in Pune. Originally we were from Pune. I went to sleep and I don't know what happened, but at that moment I said in my heart of heart that if there be any God, from now on my beloved is the only one I know. And that is how I came to him. And I always tell all my brothers and sisters in my beloved Baba one thing which will be of great help to all of us. I always tell all my brothers and sisters in my beloved that what my life would have been And I had not the great good fortune of being at the lotus feet of my beloved. Always remember that. Because day by day the situation in the world is becoming from bad to worse. He is the only Redeemer who can free us all. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba. I am Gyoti Kulshreshtha from Hamirpur, now coming from Lucknow. I was 5 years old when my father accepted Baba as his Lord Krishna. Before that, he was very much against Baba, and he was so much against Baba that he used to throw his pictures on the street so that people may walk on him. He was sent to jail twice as he was very active freedom fighter and took active part in non-violence led by Mahatma Gandhi. And I had my first darshan of beloved Baba when he visited Hamirpur in November 1952. He was so beautiful that as a child I used to run after him and never took my gaze away from him. He was so beautiful. And my education, my marriage, everything was according to Baba's instructions. And I used to write him letters and Baba used to guide me. He always directed me to focus on my studies. And my father, whenever darshan were open at Guru Prasad from 59, we had, he used to take whole family here to Guru Prasad Pune for Baba darshan. My father left everything, his job and everything for Baba's birth. And Baba appointed him chief worker of Hamirpur district and gave him appointment letter for that by his own hands at Dehradun on the Ram Navami day. And my mother always helped my father in Baba's work and never opposed him. Always I saw my parents, besides my childhood was in an extreme poverty days we spent my childhood. And from my parents, they never say any word against that they don't have money or anything. They never complained. They were so happy with beloved Baba and my father working for him and mother supporting. My father belonged to a remote village in Meherbad, and this is a very historical place in Baba's history because it was here that Meher Chalisa was recited for the first time on 23 November 1952 when Baba was asking his lovers that what they take him to be. Someone said that I take you to be a saint, and someone said that I want to accept you as an avatar, but I can't accept it. Then Baba asked my father, what do you take me to be? And he said that Baba, whatever I take you to be, it will take a time and it is your lunch time. Then Baba said, no, I will take lunch afterwards, you say. And then it was here that first time my father recited Meher Chalisa, 40 couplets in the praise of beloved Baba. Baba liked that very much, and during his lifetime, Baba heard 12 times this Meher Chalisa, and even at the end when Baba was going to be interned on 7th February, my father recited this Meher Chalisa before beloved Baba. And second historical event happened in 9-10 February at the night in 1954. When beloved Baba declared himself as avatar of the age, first time in the avatar, in the Meher Asthana Meherbad. a very remote village in Meherbad district. And after that, he has the public declaration that I was Rama, I was Krishna, I was so and so. So, two historical events are connected with my father's village, Meherbad, and they are going to hold a large gathering this year in November. And of you who can plan a visit, you must go because Baba has said that Hamidpur is my heart. Jai Baba.
Avtar Meherbad ki jai. First of all, I would thank you, everyone, and Ginny Khan for giving us this opportunity. And when we were invited to sit here on the dais, I was really feeling very awkward. And why I was feeling awkward? Because when we were in schooling or college, as a normal human being, we always had complaint about our colleagues that he's given so much advantage in life and we are just not taken care. So one of my teachers, he gave a very good answer that why people always have a complaint about others that he's at an advantageous position and you are left out. So he would say, if God wants to give jalebis to a donkey, what is your problem? It is between God and the donkey. It is their relationship, His compassion. So that gave us a great consolation. And this is what is my relationship with Baba. That I came as a donkey, not as a seeker. Because in our families, Lord Ram and Lord Krishna were so much ingrained. They were part of the family to the extent that there was no extra search for God. And we were not seeking outside the domain of that relationship. So there was no seeking. And I did not find out Baba. I did not come to him. But Baba came to me. This is my story. And how it has all happened, it is in 1960. I was visiting as a college student this particular city, Ahmednagar, where my destiny was to unfold. And we were given some partial military training program near Meherbad, Baba's residence, where you might have visited already. So there was a big water reservoir that time. Now it is very, very small because now agricultural fields are there. So we were given a training, field training there. And it was a war time, all the time Chinese and the Pakistanis would attack India. So in college days, we were given an auxiliary training that in case of emergency, we would be inducted in the military as a second line of defense. So it was a part of that, and I was having a training one day, and our meals were brought there near that water reservoir. It was a whole day training program. When the meals were served, then I asked for extra salt. Because from my childhood, I had a tendency that in my plate I would serve the salt first, then other things. So I asked them to give me salt, and they said, in army, everything is measured and you don't need extra salt. Why are you worried about it that much? So I said, no, I cannot eat without salt. So I looked around some houses there and I may go and beg salt. And you would not believe that from that lake, Meherbad is about 1 mile, not even 1 kilometer, quite a distance. But that time in 1960, it looked very, very close to me, and I thought that this is the house, I should go there and beg for the salt. So with my food in plate, that army enamel plate, I went there at the gate. I was not bothered about who's living here. My main concentration was on salt. So somebody met me at the gate, some servant was there, and I asked him to give me salt. He went inside and he gave me salt. Now that was the connection. I still do not know who is this and why I have come here, but that was the starting point. Now, taking salt from Baba's own house, in India it is said that if you eat somebody's salt, you have to be loyal to that person. But if you actually read Baba's literature, you would come across that in this Advent, he has changed all those rules which were existing in previous Advents. So what he has done, instead of making me loyal to him, he has in fact become loyal to me. Loyal to me in the sense that he is taking every care, whatever even I do not know about myself from that particular time. Since that time I have taken salt from his door, he is taking care of me. That is his loyalty towards a person, as you can say about the donkey story which I told you. Then this has actually started unfolding my connection with Baba. I go back to my college after this training program, and the very first day I am drawn to a professor who was teaching me for last 3 years, and I never cared for him. I never even talked to that man. But that particular day after return from here, I was so much intensely drawn to him that I straight away go to him and ask him that I would like to visit your house. So he did not ask me, why do you would like to visit my house, in which class you are there. He did not ask for my identity, anything. And he gave me address that you come to such and such address and I will wait for you. So I go to his house, and as soon as I enter the room where he brought me in, Baba's photo was there just on the front wall, and I was so drastically attracted to that photo as if a powerful magnet is drawing a piece of iron. So that was my first experience, but I wondered that why this photo is attracting me. And before I could understand anything, my teacher comes, and he did not give me any chance or anything. He just asked me, sit down, I will teach you something. He thought that I am a very good student and I have come for some help. So without asking anything, he started teaching me and says, you come every day, I like your company, I will teach you. But my main interest was in that photo, that I should find out. And every day I would go, but he would not give me chance. Whose photo is this? This went on for 6 months. And every day I would like to see at the photo, and he would not give me chance. So I would request him, please give me a glass of water. So he would move to another room, and that would be my time, 1, 2 minutes, 3 minutes time. I would gaze at that. And every day Baba was unfolding to me. I was not knowing why I am attracting, nothing. My teacher is not giving me chance. I am not asking him with the fear that he may tell me that you are not interested in studies, so don't come to my house. So I would go, but I would not ask him, he would not tell me. After 6 months, when my result was over, that was my first time in my whole life, that was my graduation in science, BSc. I got first division and first position in the university, which was never there. I was never interested in studies. I was never getting good positions. With great difficulty, I would pass my exams. And this was for the first time. So I went to pay my gratitude to him. But he said, today there's a bad news for you. So I said, why? He said that I am transferred from this and I would not be able to help you anymore. I am going away. So tears rolled down from my eyes, and he thought that I am weeping for him. So he consoled me, patted me. Why are you crying? Wherever I would be there, I would be helping you from there. Don't worry. So I said, I am not crying for you. So he was greatly upset and shocked that all these 6 months I had this boy. He got the first position and still he is not worried about my transfer. So then he, in a very terse tone, harsh tone, he asked me that, why are you crying? So I said, sir, I have not been coming to you for studies. You have been helping me. I was actually drawn on the first day by this photo, and every day I would like to see to that, and I was coming for that. And probably I don't know whose photo is this. He never told me. Today please tell me whose photo is this. So he uttered 3 words that this is Avatar Meherbad. And when he was uttering 3 words, actually what you hear from them, many people, they might be telling you about Baba's manifestation. So when he uttered those 3 words, actually that manifestation was there, and my heart totally accepted 100% absolute that he is the same one. Then I questioned him where he lives. So he is now giving me identity, the place description, and when he is coming about Ahmednagar, then I asked him that I have visited this city 3 times for my training, 1958, 59 and 60. I never heard about his name. So how is that? He said, no, he is not a public figure. He lives outside the city, and now he is giving a description of that place, Meherbad, such and such place. So now he comes to that water reservoir. and near that water reservoir there is a house in which he lives. So when he mentioned that, then I asked him, is it Pimpalgaon Lake? So he asked me, how do you know that? So I told him about my salt story, and I questioned him, is it that house from where I took the salt? Because there was no other house at that time in the vicinity. So he confirms that, yes, it is that house, that you are so fortunate to take salt from that house. And that salt, the pinch of salt, has actually brought you to my contact, and in my house you are able to see Meher Baba. Then he gives me description the very first day about Baba, and he is telling me that he is the 7th incarnation of this cycle. He was Zoroaster, he was Ram, he was Krishna, he was this and that. So when I go back home, I write the first letter to Baba, because Baba was not that time meeting with people. He would invite people whenever time was there. So there were strict restrictions which my teacher told that he's not meeting and he cannot write to him. But I wrote a letter to him, first letter after this. And in the very first letter I had a complaint that Meher Baba, I have come to know from my teacher that you were this and this and this, and now you are Meher Baba. So you have to pay for that. Why did you not take me in your fold in your past incarnations? This was my first complaint, first letter, and the answer comes in which it is written that Baba has enjoyed your complaint. But there was no further elaboration that how he is going to pay for it. Now the time comes of my first meeting, and that was 1962 East-West gathering, which he has already described to you in Guru Prasad building in Pune. And thousands of people were there, big pandal was there, and everybody was getting a chance to meet him, go to him. Meeting means you are actually allowed to go near him, either you are allowed to touch his feet, or sometimes you were given embrace. So now on the public address system, it is announced time and again that there's a big crowd and everybody should get a chance, so nobody should try to come second time. And still I observed that some people were caught attempting the second time darshan. So then I was a student and keen observer, so I was trying to observe. I was determined that I have to take 7 times darshan, 6 for the past incarnation and 1 this time for Meher Baba, because I have already complained to him. I told him that this is my complaint and he has to pay for it. That means I should get extra 6 darshan. But it was so difficult. So I was observing what is actually happening, how these people are caught. So then I found out that actually Mandli was so busy in attending to him and managing the whole affair of darshan that they were not able to see who is doing what mischief. But it was Baba's own flicker of eye. He would give some indication that this person is doing a mischief, and then they would catch hold of him and throw him out of the queue. So now first darshan is over, I have joined again, I am going slowly to the second chance, and then I am praying to Baba, please give me chance, don't get me caught. And when I reach near him, instead of giving any indication to the mandli, he turns his face to some other side so that I get the second chance. And he gave this 6 more times, and I got in those 4 days 6 more extra darshan. And this is how, without saying, without promising that he would fulfill that, he would pay for that, he has given me 6 extra darshan, and that was my first darshan, first meeting. And actually I have not searched because God was already in our family, so He was searching for me. He has given me chance to come to Ahmednagar, given me chance to go to Meherbad, to pick up a pinch of salt, and He's put that trait in my childhood that I should put extra salt in my plate first thing before serving other items. Thank you so much for giving me this challenge.
Sam Kerawalla started saying that I always start with some humor. People look at my hand and say, Jimmy, what happened? What happened to your arm, to your hand? And I tell them, I'm telling you that on 16 Jan 1981, I got married. 16 Jan 1981. And that was the first time I burnt my fingers. And day before yesterday, I burnt my fingers again. Don't tell this to my wife. It's just in this room. Okay. We have very short time. I'm skipping my part right now. Those who are interested in how I met Meher Baba, We'll talk tonight in the dining room because we have 6 more people to cover and we have a lot of ground to cover, so I'll forgo my chance right now. The second round is starting from Amrit. What happened in your life? What incident took place in your life which crystallized in your mind that Meherbad is God in human form? Over to Amrit.
What a question. So, going back a little bit to my earlier story, introduction story. So, born and start living in a family where they always start loving Meherbad. And it was one of those things, like for me, if I say, it's like in Hindu family, when you go to temple, then you go to temple. When you're Christian family, you go to church. For me, it was same, Baba is there, so of course, every now and then there's Baba's prayers, we get together, or the Baba's program get together, and life was going on. And because parents said, they loved Baba and they wanted them to, so we start loving Baba too. Now and then there will be times, like if you didn't study well or you done something mischief or something, and you want to get out of that situation, you repeat Meherbaba's name. So my life was going on like that. Exam time, just go quickly and bow down to Baba's picture, and parents, mother and father regularly would come to whenever Baba's gatherings were there to visit with Baba. But they somehow didn't bring us. We were 4 or 5 brothers and sisters that time, and so my last remembrance of me seeing their Baba was when I was around 4. Now, many years later, when I was around 18, when Baba asked me to marry Dara, all of a sudden, that time, first time it started that I'm really going to see God. Up till now it was just because of the family, just because of, like it always happens in every family with every kid. And all of a sudden, like after saying, yes, Baba, I will marry your nephew, Baba had asked me, by the way, he never told me to marry him. He said, I'm asking you, would you marry my nephew? Even though completely taken for granted, just saying his name and not, really realizing what I'm doing. But when he asked me, I said yes immediately. Without surprise, without shock, without anything. It just felt very natural that Baba was asking for something, and it has to be yes. And after my saying yes, then I received a telegram from Baba that me and my father both should come to Meherbad. It was several months before the wedding. Baba had arranged the date. So that's the time, all of a sudden, this different type of longing, up till now it was all taken for granted, but that longing has started inside me. Am I so fortunate that I'm going to see God, my family, prays to Him, just like they would do to other, like Krishna or anybody. And it was, like a marriage and arrangements, and everything became secondary. The only thought was in my mind, in a couple of days after this traveling, I'll be seeing Meherbad. And how it will be to see God. And those days, the train traveling from North India to Ahmednagar used to take a couple of days. And all those couple of days, I just couldn't eat, couldn't even talk to my father. Father and myself were both traveling. And I'm just thinking about what will it be like to be with Meherbad. Well, I said, Jai Baba, when we reached Meherbad, that longing was so strong, so much that I have reached now to Baba's home. I wanted to run and see him. But of course, it's not like that. So I started looking around, thinking like Meherbad must be standing somewhere there. And we came exactly the same way where you go in Mandi's side. And I saw his old Mandi or no more, like Kerawalla. And first somehow he looked like Meher Baba. And then immediately I said, no, that's not Meher Baba. Then I saw Badul, and then I saw this one, that, because that thing was so strong, that, and church was so strong that everyone started looking like Meher Baba. Then, after a little while later, Arish came and he says, you go, Kumar, my father stays in men's side, you go to ladies' side, and ladies are waiting and Baba is there. So I was sent towards the ladies' side. And to my surprise, of course, the message must have been sent to the ladies, leading Baba Manli. When I say ladies, was Mehera, Baba's beloved Mehera, his sister Mani, and his Dr. Gohel. Of course, they're all his disciples, very close, lived whole their life with Baba. And his Raja, who took care of his kitchen, and Meheru, who's still there, and Rano, and, I think that's... I think it was that time. And when I went there, I saw Mehera, Mani, and all these ladies standing in veranda holding a platter. It's a Parsi tradition. When you welcome somebody or something, they bring this little thali, a little platter with a little coconut, a little sweet, little flour, little thing, and there was an egg. And when I first came, they did like what you call achi michu in Gujarati. And I never heard of that. I'm from Hindu background. I never saw that, never heard of that. And when I came there, they gave me flowers and coconut and did this egg. And Baba's Meherazad, it's like I should be doing that to them or to Baba. But here I was given this beautiful welcome. And they put a little sweet in your mouth to say, come with the sweetness to our home, to our space. And it was like really a surprise and something, anyway, after this little while, after that, all that was over, greeting and all that, Mehera and either Mani or Mehera, one of them said, sorry, Amrit, this is already late, and it's Baba's dressing time, you won't be able to see Baba. To me, I thought I'll come to Meherazad and first thing I'll be seeing Meher Baba, and this thing is going on, and then now I've been told this, I can't see him till next morning. How it will, became more difficult. But that moment, maybe I imagined or what I heard a clap sound. And I never had heard, that's how Baba calls his monthly. But it was Baba's clap, and all these ladies, they left that platter in my hand, that thali, and they all went to Baba's room. And after a short while later, Mehera and Mani, they came out and they said, guess what? Baba will see you right now. All of a sudden, I started shaking, just, am I so fortunate? Then I'm going to see Meher Baba now. But then again, that thought, how it will be and all that. Anyway, I was taken to Baba's room from the inside rooms, not from the outside where you go to take darshan now these days. It was from the Mehera's sitting room from that side. And where I saw Baba is sitting on his bed. You've been, most of you, in Baba Meherazad, I'm sure. And Baba was sitting on his bed, where the cushion is where we bow down now. Baba's feet were on that cushion. And Baba was sitting, and I came from his right-hand side, means from behind him. And what I saw on the bed, there's this old man is sitting with a kind of hunched. And I still remember there was a little ponytail, like his hair were tied in back. And I stood near the door, and I started looking. I was expecting Meher Baba, like, a strong, healthy man standing there, I go running to him, give him embrace, or say Jai Baba or Baba. But what I saw this person sitting, looking very hunched, looking a little sick, and sitting like that, completely bending like that. And I hesitated to come inside. And that moment, I saw Baba, his hand went this way and asked him to come in front of him. He didn't even turn, just a little bit his hand, and he said, come in front of him. I came and stood in front of Meher Baba, and I started shaking. The tears were very easy to come out from the Baba. The tears were pouring out. And I don't know, I don't have really words. I I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel like cheated or anything, but I felt like I didn't see any God there. What I saw, a sick old man sitting on the bed, and I'm standing in front of him. And that thing, and then I started weeping more. I felt really hot. I felt like a little feverish little thing, and I wanted to run away from there. I said, what happened to that, the Meher Baba we saw in film, or the Meher Baba always used to bow down with the garlands and looking beautiful and radiant and glowing. Here's this sick old man. And then there was no God for me at all. So after standing a little while, everybody is quiet. And then I have no idea when Baba lifted hands up to give you embrace. I don't remember, but I remember embracing him. And I put my head on his shoulder, and he's tapping me on my back, and tears are still pouring out from me. But that embrace, that hug, that's what I was looking for. That was, he gave me immediately the compassionate one. I felt that cloak, yes, I'm with my Meher Baba. That's what I wanted, that emptiness got filled immediately inside, that longing, that this thing. It was so beautiful. It was just completely with, like what I wanted, what I was looking for. I was with my Meher Baba, with my God, with my beloved. And it could happen maybe for a couple of seconds, then how long you could embrace person. And then with Baba, with his both hands, push me kind of like a putting pressure, so I went in front of him again. And I saw in his face, there was a frown, and he's asking me, you okay? Everything's fine? To me it felt like he's telling me, you human being, what you make me go through, every time you make me prove myself that yes, I am the one. And I really felt that from him, with that frown on his head. And more tears came out, but it was for happiness, it was being with my beloved. And that was my real, and call it a connection, more from me, not from my family, it was for me. And that was my beginning with Meher Baba. And I try to love him the way he wants us to love him, but let's see.